best communities for Koreans in Atlanta. And we're gonna get started right now. 대한민국! Did you know that Korean is the third most commonly spoken language in Georgia and that the South's largest Korean population is right here in the metro Atlanta area? So, what can you expect living in Atlanta as a Korean? Stick around and watch this whole video to find out. Hello, I'm Tim Trevathan with Tim Trevathan Homes and Keller Williams Realty. On this video, I'm going to tell you about the best communities for Koreans in metro Atlanta. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. I have already done a full vlog style video for the Koreatowns in the cities of Duluth and Suwanee in Gwinnett County. So you definitely want to check them out. And you might be wondering, why is this white guy covering a topic that's not related to his ethnicity? Well, guess again. I am actually half Korean, half Caucasian, as my mother is Korean and my father is American. I also lived in South Korea as an English teacher for nearly 6 years, from 2010 to 2016. While living in a neighborhood of Bundang in Gyeonggi province, I had a chance to explore the cities of Daegu, Gwangju, Busan, Incheon, Paju, Jeonju, Ulsan, Jeju, and so much more. So you can imagine why I'm doing this video in the best communities for Koreans to live in Atlanta. It's because I have a passion for Korean culture, have a fair knowledge about it, and understand the challenges of finding the right community to live in Atlanta as a Korean, and really the entire United States. So if you are planning to make Georgia your home, please reach out and connect with me, whether it's a call, text, or email. I've worked with people from all across the country who now call Georgia their home. And no doubt, many Native Koreans and Korean Americans have been my clients whom I have thoroughly enjoyed working with. Koreans first started moving to the Atlanta area in any sort of significant numbers back in the 1980s and 1990s, and over the past decades has exploded. The Korean population in the Atlanta area is concentrated in Gwinnett County and doubled in just the past decade. Today, we're going to look at 4 popular Korean communities. First up is Johns Creek. In 2014, it had the 4th largest Korean population in the state, with Koreans making up 4.9% of the population. It may have the smallest Korean population of all of the communities we're going to talk about today, but it is certainly thriving. The Korean community in Johns Creek has an H Mart, which serves as its retail anchor. In the same plaza as the H Mart, you'll find Hansel and Gretel, bakery, cafe, and its popular breads, cakes, coffee, boba tea, and bingsu, my favorite. Tous les Jours is a popular French Asian bakery with a location in Johns Creek. It's hard to make a wrong choice here, but there are artisan pastries, cakes, and coffee that are especially popular. Popular Korean restaurants in Johns Creek include Tofu Kitchen in Johns Creek, located on Medlock Bridge Road, and diners especially enjoy the tofu soup and the casual environment. Also on Medlock Bridge Road is the brand new OK Dog. Similar to the Myeongnyang hot dog in Korea, this is now become a popular trend in the local Korean American community. Serving Korean street food, including the popular Korean hot dog, it brings something new to the area and has been a hit with the customers here. One Korean business especially worth mentioning in Johns Creek is Suni Pouch, with a vision to bring popular K-beauty products to the local community that are not readily available outside of Korea. Suni Pouch offers customers the option of shopping in their Johns Creek store or ordering online from the comfort of their homes. If you are looking for a Korean church in Johns Creek, you'll find Johns Creek Korean Church on McGinnis Ferry Road. The Korean community in Johns Creek is newer than that of next door Duluth, and thus much smaller. While not exclusively Korean, about 25% of the students at Johns Creek High School are Asian. At nearby Northview High School, which also serves the Johns Creek community, 57% of the students are Asian. Next on the list of best Metro Atlanta communities for Koreans is Doraville. This is home of the original Korean community in Atlanta. Even today, along Buford Highway, you'll find Korean restaurants and businesses of all sorts. Doraville has been a little glimpse of the globe, with people from all around the world making their home here, Koreans included. As with Johns Creek, there is an H-Mart in Doraville. The Buford Farmers Market is Korean-owned and provides customers with food from across the globe, drawing visitors from all around Atlanta along the Buford Highway corridor. You'll also find Korean barbecue, karaoke bars, aka noraebang, and a variety of other Korean restaurants. In particular, K-pop barbecue and bar on Buford Highway stands out as a local favorite, with guests not only loving the food, but the fast and efficient service as well. Another favorite is the Chodang Tofu House, also on Buford Highway. Diners love the authentic Korean food served by this small family-owned restaurant, particularly the tofu soups, dubu. If you are looking for a Korean bakery in Doraville, check out Paris Baguette, Paris Baguette. It also is on Buford Highway. It is impossible to leave Paris Baguette hungry. The hard part is deciding what to order. They have a great selection of salads, pastries, breads, sandwiches, and a large selection of hot and cold beverages. You'll want to visit many times so you can fully explore their menu. Remember the Korean bakery Tous les Jours we just talked about in Johns Creek? Well, they have a location in Doraville, and there's actually a location in each of the most popular Korean communities in Atlanta, which makes it really easy to grab your bakery favorites no matter where you happen to be. I have to mention one more amazing Korean bakery in Doraville, White Windmill Bakery and Cafe. Also on, you guessed it, Buford Highway. White Windmill is popular with the locals, but is also a destination for those outside of the Doraville area. I have to tell you an interesting story. I was there just a few months ago, sitting down with my wife, eating some bread and coffee, and a person says, "Tim, is that you?" I look behind me, and it's a guy that I knew from when I lived in Korea 8 years ago. We had met at a summer camp serving kids. No joke. And I'm telling you, there are so many Koreans that flock to this area in Atlanta because of all that Atlanta has to offer for Koreans alike. And you might end up running into the same thing as me, where you have a coincidental encounter with people that you knew in Korea if you ever lived there yourself. It's amazing how small this world is, and it's even better when you actually meet people here and build that community. Whew! So anyway, let me go back to White Windmill. Their selection of breads in particular draw customers, but they have coffee and cakes as well as a nice selection of breakfast and lunch items. In particular, guests comment on the clean, fresh environment. There's no shortage of amazing eateries along Buford Highway. I'm just skimming the surface with the restaurants and bakeries I just mentioned, and there are so many more great places you could visit as well. There are also several Korean churches in the area, in particular Korean Martyrs Catholic Church and Atlanta Good Church, which is Presbyterian. There are multiple other Korean churches located just outside of Doraville. It can be hard to find a good mechanic, but in Doraville, you're in luck. OK Auto Service is Korean owned and has been serving the Doraville community for decades, with many loyal customers who have used them for years. While there is a strong Korean presence in Doraville, there is one thing to note: if you have children or hope to have children one day, the Korean community here is aging and not as family oriented compared to other Korean communities in the area, which makes sense as this community dates back to the 1980s and 1990s, and continuing suburban expansion has carried the Korean community's next generation further into the suburbs over time. Okay, the second best community for Koreans in Atlanta is Duluth. In Duluth, you can find a Korean business for pretty much anything you need. Grocery store, restaurant, bank, doctor, lawyer, spa, coffee shop, and more. If you need it, chances are great you can find it in Duluth's Koreatown. Atlanta's only Korean language newspaper is published in Duluth. There's also a Korean radio station based in Duluth, as well as a few Korean TV stations. In Duluth, you'll find entire shopping centers filled with Korean language signage. It is very possible to go about your entire day speaking only Korean in Duluth. In fact, Duluth has become a popular tourist destination for Koreans from across the region who are craving Korean culture but don't want to spend the money or take the time to fly all the way to Korea when Duluth is much closer. Okay, it's time to talk about food. This is a hard one. We'd be here for an hour if I told you about every great Korean barbecue spot or other Korean restaurants in Duluth. There are just that many good ones here. Duluth's Koreatown is definitely worth a visit, more like multiple visits if you're craving some delicious, authentic Korean cuisine. For Korean barbecue, I have to mention 9292 Korean Barbecue, also known as Gui Gui, which means grill in Korean, that's a play on words, off of Satellite Boulevard, and Breaker's Korean Barbecue on Gwinnett Place Drive. Both of these places are known across Atlanta and consistently get great reviews from their customers. I promised myself I'd stick to no more than 2 Korean barbecue restaurants per city to keep this from becoming all about barbecue, but I've got to mention one more in Duluth, Iron Age Korean Steakhouse. This is another restaurant that promises great food and delivers. Diners also love the large screens, playing K-pop music, and the overall atmosphere of the restaurant. Another great restaurant choice is Jangsujeong. This Korean restaurant sets the bar high for Korean food and, per diners, delivers on its promise of fresh, flavorful, authentic Korean cuisine. I go here with my wife probably once a month, and even my wife's parents who came to visit us from Korea went there and said that was some of the best Korean food they had, which is saying a lot since you are coming from Korea, which has all of the Korean food you could ever ask for. If you are looking for a great hot pot restaurant, check out 9292 Shabu, or Shabu Shabu, not to be confused with the Korean barbecue. When it comes to Korean bakeries, you also got a lot of choices. Tree Story Bakery and Cafe on Pleasant Hill Road is loved for its breads and pastries. If you're hoping for a rice cake, Nagwon Sweet Rice Cafe on Mall Boulevard is said to have the absolute best in town, if not the state. In fact, at the time of doing this video, last weekend was Chuseok, and it was slam-packed full of people buying songpyeong and all kinds of different kinds of dok. So, there is plenty of rice cake here in Duluth. For a non-restaurant business, Miracle Hair Salon on Old Door Crossroad is a popular Korean-owned hair salon that is praised for their friendly service and diligence towards giving customers the haircut and color of their dreams. There are also several Korean churches in Duluth, primarily clustered along Highway 120. And it's funny, there's so many churches on Highway 120 that it's often coined the term church road. Most are Protestant churches of various denominations. One of them is Korean Community Presbyterian Church, the largest Korean church in Georgia, but there's also a Korean Catholic church that serves the Catholic community. Off of Pleasant Hill Road is Korean Church of Atlanta, a Methodist church. The Korean community in Duluth is well established and very family oriented. And I will say, I attended a Korean church for several years in the area, and a lot of my clients came from that church. So it's so wonderful to be able to work with Koreans that are from native in Korea, as well as Koreans that are Americanized who have grown up and lived in America. But over time, as it tends to happen in suburbs, the Korean community has continued to expand further into the ever-growing suburbs of Atlanta, and Suwanee has become the best community for Koreans in Atlanta. The Korean community in Suwanee is growing quickly and is very family oriented. Here, you'll find an H-Mart and also an Ashi Market. And this Korean-owned authentic Asian supermarket has only 3 locations in the entire country. And one of them is right here in Suwanee. In fact, their Georgia location used to be over in Duluth, but was relocated to Suwanee. There are a variety of delicious Korean restaurants in Suwanee, and as with Duluth, there are also a variety of other Korean businesses in Suwanee that make it possible to conduct much of a daily life in the Korean language. Let's talk about restaurants first. Choi's Grill, or Choi's Grill, by Chef JK on Peachtree Industrial, is known for the quality of their meats and the flavor of their food. Anju Modern Korean Barbecue and Tapas, also on Peachtree Industrial, is another popular Suwanee spot for great Korean food in a laid-back atmosphere with great service. Soon's Bakery on Lawrenceville Suwanee Road is a Korean bakery that makes all of their breads and pastries in-house and has a nice selection of sandwiches for lunch as well. If you're a big bingsu fan like me, this is one of my favorite places because the prices of bingsu have gone up considerably all around the Korean cafes, but this is one of the more reasonably priced ones in a cafe that has different outlets on all the tables. So if you wanted to study, eat some bingsu, enjoy the day, that is a good place to go. Another one, Cafe Mozart Bakery, also on Lawrenceville, Suwannee, which is popular for its drinks and cafe atmosphere, is another place you should check out. If you love K-pop and need some new music, head on over to K-Pop Story on Old Peachtree Road. It can get crowded if there is a K-pop concert in town, but otherwise, they've got great selection of both older and newer music. As with the other communities, there are also many Korean churches in Suwannee, including Promise Church off of McGinnis Ferry Road. Honoring Korean culture and maintaining strong community ties are important to many in Atlanta's Korean communities. And the Korean American Association of Greater Atlanta is headquartered in Norcross, which, by the way, at the time of doing this video, also last weekend with the celebration of Chuseok was the Korean festival. At the festival, they have all kinds of different demonstrations, whether it's taekwondo or samulnori or different kinds of Korean instruments or dances, as well as many, many booths of different kinds of Korean food and culture and merchandise that you can purchase. And again, that headquarters is located in Norcross, which is not one of the cities we talked about, but it is nestled in between Johns Creek, Doraville, Duluth, and Suwannee. So what else could I say about the Korean community? Because I feel like I've talked about everything. Well, the Korean community in Georgia was expected to reach about 93,000 people by 2021. And over half, about 50,000 people, live in the Atlanta area, primarily in these 4 communities we just talked about. If one of these communities caught your eye and you'd like to learn more about making it your home, contact me and I'd love to help turn your dream into a reality. I've had the pleasure of helping clients from all parts of the country, Korean and non-Korean, move here. 공인중개사 필요하면 불러주세요. See you on the next video.